Like something that private schools do not advertise, but they have access to is, hey y'all, hey, so it's Chameleon K, and today I am talking about how to afford private school as a single mom, mother, single parent, whatever. So you might have been asking yourself, like, how do you afford private school when you don't have a two-parent household? And I get it. I'm here to help you out. And there are some things that I've learned over the years that I'm not sure if people are aware of. Like, you may want to put your child in private school, but you don't feel like you can afford it, or you know, you look at the tuition, because I've had this conversation. So maybe the learning style where they are isn't working for them. Have you thought about private school? Have you thought about homeschooling? Which both of those are things that I do. I have 2 kids, and one is homeschooled, one is private school, but we're talking about private school today. And I send them a school, I'll send a recommendation based on what they say about their kid, and then parents like see the tuition and they just check out. It's like, okay, you know, $23,000 a year, or even up with a 40-something thousand a year, and you might as well be sending your 5-year-old to college, right? You might as well be sending them to an Ivy League school. Like, oh, I can't afford that. But I'm here to give y'all some tips and tricks, some things that you may not know that I have learned over the last 3 years of my child being in private school. And my daughter has been in private school for the last 3 years. I am a single mom, and I am handling it alone. So I decided to make that a part of the Single Mom Glow Up series, and so I'm gonna add that to the playlist, and I'll be adding things as time goes on. If you're new here, I'm here to tell you, I talk a lot about motherhood, more specifically single motherhood. But some things, it doesn't matter whether you're a single mom or not. Some of the things are relatable. I talk about bossing up, I talk about entrepreneurship. If those subjects interest you, you may want to go ahead and stick around. So let's get into it. I've observed of course I only have the experience with my child being in one private school. However, I did kind of vet a few. So I've seen different private schools, and how they operate. I learned some things, and I've observed that. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the only one, because maybe in other classes that I maybe just haven't ran across another one yet. However, at my child's school, I realized that nobody else is a single mother. Like, I'm the only one there. So I was like, no, I gotta put y'all on, because y'all might be missing it. And I'm gonna put y'all on because that's what I do. So I'm about to tell y'all what's up. And I'm gonna start with the most obvious way. Get some help if you can't afford the high tuition. It's the first most obvious way. So let's go ahead and get this out the way, is financial aid. Now, with financial aid, they're looking at, your income, clearly. And they're looking at, like, how involved is the other parent. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you something that they ask is, if the other parent isn't involved at all, then they're going to ask you for either a letter from a doctor or a letter from a lawyer saying that the other parent is completely not involved. And the reason that they're asking you this is your income alone may not be able to cover it, or your income alone may reduce how much it would be even more than if another parent was involved. So if the other parent is involved, then of course they're going to ask for that parent's income, and it's going to count. So if you're the only one taking care of your kid, you're the only one that ever takes them to the doctors, you can simply ask your doctor for a letter stating that, saying that you're the only one that's involved with the kid, and that covers that. I just know that that's one of the things they ask for when it comes to how involved the other parent is, because they want to know if they can get some more coins. So the other thing that I want you, when you are vetting a private school, pay attention to, because say for example it's a private school that goes from, like, let's say 2 or 3-year-olds up to 8th grade, and then it's another private school that goes from 2 or 3-year-olds to 12th grade, and then there are some that are just high school, of course, and then it's all kinds of mixes. For example, a school that goes from the 2 and 3-year-olds up to 12th grade, they may prioritize high schoolers, what they call upper school, and if they're prioritizing those students, that means that they are the first to get the funding. And you need to find this out from the school ahead of time before you go, you know, waste your time or set your heart on a school and you can't get the help, because the upper school gets first dibs, and then second dibs may be siblings to those kids, or siblings to kids who already go to the school or the next priority. And by the time they get to somebody new, or by the time they get to lower school, they're like, oh, you're gonna pay it all or you're not coming. So I just wanted to make you aware of that and tell you, you know, go ahead and look into that when you are searching for a school for your kid. The next thing is, there may be city or state specific grants that will help you with private school that you may be able to stack on top of financial aid. So a lot of times the schools are aware of what they are, of course, because they're the ones getting paid by them. So if you don't know or you can't find it on your own, call the school you're interested in or schools you're interested in and ask them, like, what programs do you work with? Are there any state or city specific grants that I may be able to apply for that could help me with my child's tuition? And they should be able to help you there. Sometimes the school is looking for more diversity. So say for example, they don't have as much of a mix of different cultures, you know, diversity, ethnicity, things like that in the school, and they're looking to, you know, expand that, and your child may just fit the bill as far as, you know, they feel like your child would be a perfect fit, on top of the fact that they also are looking for diversity. They may not say that, but sometimes they are. And another thing is, sometimes they test your kids. I'm not going to say all of them test your kids because I don't know all private schools, but I know the ones that I was interested in for my daughter, they tested her. And then they'll, like, you know, do like a shadow day, which is where she takes a day or two at the school as a student, and then they take that time to say, okay, she, you know, she's a good fit. In my experience, they had the conversation with me. They told me, like, okay, well, she was struggling here, but she fit right in here. We don't think she'll have trouble. You know, this was a little off, but, you know, they'll pair you up with students to help you out, or help your child, not you, but help your child out. And they, you know, kind of look at your child's strengths and weaknesses. Now, what I was getting at is based on, so say for example, you have a child that would create diversity in the school, on top of the fact that your child may have been a good fit from what they observed, you know, on those 1 or 2 days that your child was at the school, and they're more inclined to help you more. I'm gonna put it like this: if they really feel like your child is a really good fit, whether that be the curriculum or how they fit in with the class or whatever the case may be, when they looking at their strengths and weaknesses, and they, you know, because they observe your child very closely, and so when they see that, and then, you know, also you may have the diversity advantage, then they'll sometimes go above and beyond to try to help you get into that school. I just wanted to put you know, give you a little heads up about that, so that you know. So, you know, if little Susie go in there and, you know, she do her thing, they might just help you out. The other thing that schools don't specifically advertise, like something that private schools do not advertise but they have access to, is angel investors. And they're not going to tell you that. You're not going to see that on the front of their school, okay? You're not going to see that. But say for example, you get the financial aid. You qualify for a grant program. They like your kid fits in well, but you're still like, it's a little too much for me, I still, you know, can't swing it. They have angel investors. They also have alumni who donate to the school as well. So in those instances, sometimes they can sponsor your child for the remainder, or they can sponsor them for, you know, up to a certain amount, whatever you guys agree on. So don't think that, you know, just because like you see this big number up front, like, you know, what's on the website is the final number. No. Okay, it's ways. So I'm just, you know, I wanted to let y'all know, make sure that you know. So if you are thinking about putting your child in private school, or something that you always wanted to do but you weren't fortunate enough to have a 2-parent household or help with the bills, and you were just like, how would I ever be able to afford that? Take some of these tips into consideration, or even all of them, and, you know, see if it's something that you're able to do. Don't just write it off because you just see this number, okay? You never know until you try. If y'all want me to make a video about the different types of private schools, so that's another thing, like there are different types of private schools. You have like, well, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but there are different types of private schools, and if you want me to make a video about that, then comment below and let me know. If you have any questions at all, I do respond to my comments. So if you have any questions regarding this topic, maybe I didn't go over it, or, you know, maybe it's something specific that you want to ask, go ahead and comment. I got you. I will respond. And